nāvavatu, saha bhunaktu, saha vīryam karavāvahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu mā vidvishāvahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected. May we be nourished. May we do good deeds, brave deeds. May we be enlightened by light of knowledge. May there be peace, peace, and peace alone. Welcome everyone. Can you guys please confirm if you can hear and see me well? Okay, thank you. Yeah, no buzzing. Okay, so what we are going to do today. So far in weekly sessions, what we have been doing is trying different kinds of meditation techniques. We were just introducing different meditation techniques. And I will say that those were just introductions for beginners, because it is very difficult to understand any meditation technique with just 20 minutes of time, right? So from today onwards, what we are trying to do is we are trying to shift gears, and we will try to dive deeper into any one of the meditation forms, any one of the practices. And in past weeks, what we have done, we have introduced several meditation practices which fall in the broad category of concentration based meditation, and some fall in the broad category of observation based meditation. And we will choose one of these two, any one of the meditation practice of either of the category, and we will try to dive deeper into that practice going forward in several weeks. Now, from the concentration based practices, there is something called mantra meditation, which we did in the very first session, which is very popular. And if you have heard the name of transcendental meditation, it is basically mantra meditation. So it's popular, and I believe it is easy to learn. Easy to learn and practice, but there is also a downfall to it, that it is difficult to understand. Why? Because we are choosing a object of meditation which is mantra, and mantra itself has its own science. Mantra itself has something called mantra yoga and mantra vigyan, which is definitely something beyond the scope of discussion in these sessions. But we can just touch upon it if we want in every session a little bit, if we choose to go that path. Other thing is the observation based meditation, and of the observation based meditation, watching the breath is one of the very popular ones, which is also called mindfulness. Mindfulness, again, watching the breath is one of the objects that you can pick, but then you can pick millions of objects in observation based meditation or mindfulness meditation as well. Similar to like picking one of millions of mantras in concentration based meditation or mantra meditation practice. So just I would like to understand what way you would like us to move. Do you want to practice mantra meditation over several weeks from now on, or do you want to practice anapan based or breathing based meditation? Both of these has its own pros and cons. As I said, mantra meditation is quite popular. Similarly, mindfulness or breathing based meditation is also very popular. As I said, mantra meditation is easy to practice because we have a natural tendency from our birth itself to take action. We are not by default from our birth observers. I mean, we are observers, but the society has, conditioned us in a way that we are no longer in that state of just being an observer. So observing something is rather difficult now if somebody has just begun to practice meditation, in contrast to doing something. So mantra meditation is actively doing something. So that's why it is a little bit easier for beginner meditators, whereas observing the breath is the act of not doing, which is difficult. In terms of the theory or the philosophy, mantra meditation theory is difficult to understand because, as I said, it's mantra yoga and mantra vigyan, and the origin of mantra itself is a complete different. Whereas in theory or philosophical aspect, breathing meditation is easier to understand. So each of these techniques has its own pros and cons. I would just like to see some opinions in the chat. Would you like to practice mantra meditation or breathing based meditation? Okay, people are quite equanimous, which is good. So, if I have to choose one of either, I will choose mantra meditation over breathing based meditation, because there are two reasons to that. One is a lot of people are already familiar with breathing based meditation, and mantra meditation is something that is still seen as a mystical practice. Nobody knows what mantra to choose, how to choose, and how to chant a mantra. Should they repeat it verbally? Should they repeat it mentally? What does a mantra mean even? Why should we choose only certain mantras, and why can't we make our own mantras? And is it necessary to have a mantra prescribed by a teacher, or can I choose something by myself? And there are a lot of questions regarding mantra meditation. So for that reason, I would like to go this way, because something breathing based meditation is something that a lot of people are already familiar with. Other thing is, as I said in the beginning, that mantra meditation is easier to practice for beginners because it is an active participation. It is actively doing something when we do mantra meditation. So without wasting more time, we already are 11 minutes into the session. So we will do it for 20 minutes, and I will be guiding you through the session. I'll just put my phone on do not disturb and put a 20 minutes timer. Okay. So before we begin, last time when we practiced mantra meditation, we chose a mantra which was called soham. As we were breathing in, we were trying to listen in our mind the sound so, and as we were exhaling, we were trying to listen the sound hum. When I say we were trying to listen the sound, it is actually mentally chanting or mentally saying the word, which at a later point of time becomes listening to the sound without putting any effort to actually mentally repeating the word. So it goes something like so, as I breathe in, hum, so, hum. So here my hand represents the movement of breath, because I can't speak while I inhale. Mostly when we speak, we are throwing air out of our lungs. So you breathe in, so, and breathe out, hum. Now this is, there is another mantra which is called Om, which is even shorter, and it has just one syllable. So today what we are going to do is we are going to start chanting Om. And for Om, you have, it is a little bit tricky to chant Om, because when you are verbally chanting, it has a rhythm. When you say it loud, at that time you are exhaling through your mouth as you slowly chant the syllable, and when you are out of breath, you inhale and then you chant again. But when you are doing it mentally, you will observe that you can actually chant it without any gap. You can actually sustain the letter as long as you can. And that is the beauty of this mantra. When you mentally chant Om, you can actually sustain the first section A, the middle section U, or the last section Ma. Any of this, whichever you like, whichever you find comfortable, you can sustain is as long as you can. And that gives you the that brings the state of meditation. The definition of meditation is ekatanata. So the oneness of the state of mind is brought by this famous mantra, ekakshari mantra, or a single syllable mantra. So today we'll try to chant Om, and what we will do is we will first begin by verbally chanting so that we get used to the sound of the mantra, and then after chanting it for 9 times verbally, we will start listening to the sound in our mind. Mentally we will start chanting, and you will see how mentally chanting the mantra is a little bit more tricky. At the same time, it gives you the possibility to keep your mind attached to one part of the sound, not even the whole sound, one part of the sound, letting you go deeper into meditation at very fast. So with that, we will begin, and I'll try to also minimize instructions through the sessions going forward, so that once we are in the state of meditation, when we are in the meditative mood, we don't get distracted by, you don't get distracted by my sound, and I don't get distracted by the impulse of giving more instructions or so. So we will begin, and make yourself comfortable. Keep your spine, neck, and head erect in one line. If you are seated on chair, keep your feet flat on the ground. You can keep your hands on your thighs or on your knees, palms facing upward. Let's begin by taking 3 deep breaths to stabilize our breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. For a moment, just observe your breathing and your body. Quickly scan for any discomfort in any part of the body, any adjustment that you want to make. Gently make the adjustment. Make yourself comfortable. Let the breathing take its natural course. Now we will start chanting Om verbally 9 times. Take a deep breath and with exhale, slowly chant the word Om. Deep breathe in. One last time. Now allow your breathing to return to its normal course. Observe the rise of belly as you breathe in and movement of belly going inwards as you breathe out. In your own time, start mentally chanting Om, trying to hold on to the syllabus as long as you can. If you find your attention drifting away in thoughts, just resume chanting Om inside of your mind. If you find it harder to keep your attention on the mantra, mentally chant it with a little higher frequency. Om, 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 Om. As your mind settles down, elongate the sound. Om, 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 Om. Om is the primordial sound. Om is Pranav. Om is the representation of the Supreme. Om is the source of power for all other mantras. Join your palms at your heart center. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinaḥ, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaśchid dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the benefits of our practice be shared by all. May everyone experience peace, happiness, joy. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see good. May nobody ever suffer. May there be peace, peace, peace alone. Now rub your palms against each other. Cup your eyes with the palm and slowly open your eyes as you look on your palms. Take some time to observe your body, to observe your mind. Okay. I hope everyone enjoyed today's session, learned something. If anyone wants to share anything, I have a question. Just let me know. Did you find this session difficult to follow or easier than the mantra meditation session that we have done earlier? I mean, a lot of people might not have attended the first one, but they can just tell in isolation if they were able to follow the session, if it was difficult to follow the mantra. Basically, the difference in the session would occur because we chose a completely different mantra this time. So any feedback, anyone wants to share their experience, how they felt? Was it easy to follow, difficult to follow the mantra? Were they able to hold their attention onto the mantra, or they found it drifting quite a lot, or were they able to keep with it? Just they can talk through chat, or they want to speak up, they can also speak up. Yeah, you can raise your hand if you want to talk, because if you try to talk without raising hand, probably you won't be able to speak. You won't even have the unmute button, I guess. So using Om as a mantra is a little bit difficult because it is also the most potent mantra that we have. The reason why it is difficult is because it is a single syllable mantra. If you recall from our first mantra meditation session, the mantra that we used there was a mantra formed with 2 syllables, so and hum, which we could easily map with our breath. The reason why I chose Om this time is because I wanted to demonstrate that mantra meditation necessarily does not have to always be in coordination with breath. There are longer mantras also. For example, Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada, which is also used for meditation, which is very long, but it also takes time for people to learn the mantra itself before starting to use it in meditation. So there are very short mantras like Om, which is just a single syllable, and we also saw some example of single syllable mantra when we were doing Kundalini meditation. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, and silence. And then I also gave you example of a longer mantra, Vakratunda Mahakaya. The difference is that the longer mantras are generally easier for mental repetition, because you know that you have a particular sequence in which you have to think of the sound, and you can exactly know where you drifted off, where your attention drifted off, and you can pick it up from there. While a single syllable mantra, you will never know where you actually drifted off. When you try to bring your mind back to the mantra, most of the time you will not know where did you chant the previous mantra completely, or just your mind drifted in the middle or something like that. So then there are mantras like Soham, which is 2 syllable, which you can bind with the breath and it is easy to follow. Then there are other mantras like Om Namah Shivaya, which you can bind with a rhythm and it will start ringing in your mind just like a song, earworm, which plays in the mind, and you just can't get rid of it. So there are also those kind of mantra which is neither very long nor very short, and very easily you can master those mantras. So we will, as we go in next session, as we move into more sessions, we will start experimenting with different mantras and we'll see which one you can for yourself decide which mantra you like most, which is easier for you. When I say easier for you, it's not just for chanting, it's easier for you to keep your attention intact. So you can start practicing with that mantra. I see Nathan says, I think I found this one easier, more enjoyable than Soham, because I was able to extend the mantra out through pretty much the whole session, like the internal Naad sound. Yes, that's the beauty of the Om sound. You literally can take any part of the sound and extend it throughout your session. But it is also not very easy for beginners. So yes, there are both the facets to it. But yeah, that should be all about today's session. We can talk more about mantras and what the meaning of mantra is, how we choose what mantra to use, and why certain mantras are only used. So we can talk about all of these aspects going forward in each session, a little by little. So I think we will call this session to an end with this much information, and thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was somehow useful, enjoyable, practical, whatever. So thank you again for joining, and see you next week.